on this edition of On Duty. We'll join Crime Prevention Officer Ed Thomas as he talks about winter safety for your vehicle and your home. We'll also find out what it takes to be an Elk Grove Village police officer. All this and more next on Duty.
Hi, I'm Officer Ed Thomas, the Elk Grove Village Police Department. I'd like to welcome you to this month's edition of On Duty. Hopefully you made it through the holiday seasons, they were good for you and all that type of thing. Today I thought we'd talk about winter safety as it relates to vehicles. I'm also going to talk a little bit about winter safety around your house. And let's get started. So let's talk a little bit about vehicle safety. I thought we'd sort of do like an impromptu inspection on this vehicle that we have here. You know, with the extremes that we had with weather over the last several weeks, you know, I don't know when this is going to air, maybe it'll air in April, but we had some very severe weather just after the holidays in January with the extreme cold. The coldest it's been since the 1980s, as I recall. Anyways, those extremes in temperature, those extremes in weather really put wear and tear on your vehicle. What I've heard from mechanics is, besides pothole damage to tires and that wear and tear from the extreme cold and weather actually, as I said, labors your vehicle. It causes starting problems. Hopefully you're not familiar with that from first-hand knowledge. It also causes radiators to burst, things like that. So when you are getting ready to leave for wherever you're going, I suggest you just take a walk around your car. And after you pull out, make sure there's no fluids on the ground under your car, oil, antifreeze, that type of thing that normally aren't there. Start your car while you're doing your inspection here. That way it's warming up so that it'll be ready to go when you're done. Make sure that your headlights work. Okay, if I turn this on, we would see that they work because I'm sure that the owner of this vehicle is very careful in his maintenance or her maintenance. But headlights are very important, not only for visibility for you to see where you're going, but visibility for others to see your vehicle. As we're walking around the car, tires are important. With the heat and the cold, that causes the air to expand and contract. And in the wintertime, a perfectly normally filled tire in summertime is going to lose air or appear to have lost air. So make sure that the tire has enough air. This isn't an official kick test, but if it looks like it's full, you know your vehicle better than myself or anybody else. If it looks like the tire has a good amount of air in it, then be good with that. Be aware when you're driving, pulling out of the garage, pulling out of the driveway, stopping. If you hear any squeaking or grinding, might be time to go to the mechanic to have them check your rotors and your braking system, make sure that it works right. Almost all vehicles on the road now have ABS braking. So I suppose when you brake and you feel that little bit of a flutter as you're braking, that means you have ABS. There are two schools of thought. The old type of braking where it wasn't ABS, if you were to get in a skid or a loss of control of the vehicle, you're supposed to pump your brake. Now the ABS does that automatically for you. So if you were to have a loss of control with braking and you feel that fluttering in your brake pedal, just keep the brake applied. It's doing everything it's supposed to do. Make sure that your mirrors allow you to see what's behind you, okay? It's very important that you have all of your little extra tricks for visibility working in wintertime. This car is pretty clean, but it doesn't take a whole lot with dirt and that to restrict your visibility. Speaking of visibility, yeah, I know that it's easy to see vehicles, maybe not so easy depending on how you keep your car with the windows and that, but pedestrians are out and about. With the heavier snow and that type of thing and all the big piles of snow that are around intersections, pedestrians are being, I guess not forced, but they find it easier to walk in the street. Perfect road, probably not a really good decision, but they're trying to do what they need to do to get to where they're going. So that's why visibility is so important in wintertime, because you don't know when they're in the street. And usually if you see them walking, they have hoods on, they have hats on, the scarves on. They're not really seeing you in the vehicle approaching. Wipers, make sure that our wipers are clean, undamaged. And the best way to see that is from inside the vehicle when you're driving. If you see streaks in that, it's time to invest in that $5 or $10 and get some new wipers put on the car. Also make sure that there isn't any ice frozen on the wiper assembly itself, because that'll also add to the streaking and that with the window. So before you start on your trip, maybe when you're in the garage or outside, just give the windshield wiper a little shake, and that should get the ice and different debris off of it. No driving in igloos, okay? Make sure that your car is clean when you hit the road. I've seen people, you've seen people that are driving along, they probably have just the front windshield cleaned off, the sides aren't cleaned, the back isn't cleaned. They're relying on, I guess, the defrosters to clear the back of the car. Take that extra time and just wipe off all of your glass and all of your windows so that you can see. I almost overlooked it, but I guess the most basic thing with windshields and making sure they're clean is windshield wiper fluid. It costs $1 or $2 a gallon. A gallon will probably last you a whole season. Make sure that the reservoir for that is filled up. When you're putting windshield wiper in the reservoir underneath the hood, make sure you're putting it in the right spot. It should have a little display on the top of the cap that says windshield wiper fluid only here. That way you're not mixing up different fluids in the car. Continuing along with the car, we get to the rear of the vehicle. Make sure that when you have your lights on, make sure that your brake lights are also lit. I know that you can't really tell if the brakes are working if you're behind the car. Yes, I realize that, but make sure that the lights are lit that are associated with your headlights. Then you know that people can see you when they're behind you. Interior of the car, I'll talk a little bit about a roadside safety type kit. And I know that nowadays everybody carries a cell phone with them and you feel like you're invincible and you're never out of reach. But if you're planning some type of rural trip, you'd be surprised where there's coverage and where there isn't coverage. What I suggest you do before a long trip is, check the weather. Make sure that you're not driving into a snowstorm of the season. Maybe if there is a snowstorm that's going on, maybe it might be best for you to wait 2 or 3 hours before you start that trip and let it blow on through or get out of that area. But what I have in my car and what you might want to have in your car, especially for winter time, is just a little kit like this, okay? What you'd want to have in a kit is a flashlight, and I won't pull all these props out. We all know what a flashlight looks like, right? But I'd have in here a flashlight, maybe some energy bars, maybe some water, and maybe some gloves, a hat, that type of thing. So if you were to become snowbound, caught in the snow, can't reach anybody with the phone, that you can provide for yourself for the hour or the 2 hours until a plow comes through or another person sees that you're in distress and they can help you. What you also want to have in the car is a snow brush, especially in the event that you become snowbound, or a small shovel that can help you maybe try to get your vehicle out of the ditch or out of the snow that it's caught in. What also would work for you, along with this little travel kit, is in your trunk, maybe adding some weight to your rear wheels, especially if you're a rear wheel drive vehicle. Say that 5 times, rear wheel drive vehicle. Bags of sand. Or I've also heard like kitty litter, but you keep that in the trunk, then if you were to get stuck and you needed some traction, it sort of serves a dual purpose. It adds weight to your vehicle for traction when you're traveling, but also if you get stuck, you can put that under the tires, and that can help you regain some traction and get out of where you're caught. That's that. Just a general overview of jumping a vehicle. I'm going to refer to this vehicle, the dead vehicle, as the victim vehicle. And then the helper vehicle would be we'll call that the good vehicle, okay? Good vehicle is going to help you out. You have the jumper cables, you're ready to go. You have a positive and a negative, okay? And you should also have a corresponding positive listed on the battery and a negative on the battery. Make sure that on the good vehicle, you hook that up properly to the battery terminals, okay? So red would go to red, black to black. The vehicle that isn't working, the victim vehicle, you would attach the red to red on the battery, and then instead of attaching the negative to the battery, you want to attach this to some metal part on the car. And the thought process to that is that in the event that your battery is venting off fumes or vapors and that type of thing, you might have seen doing this in the past, that sparks can be caused or emitted. It could be possible for those sparks to actually cause your battery to explode. So make sure that one of these clamps is not on the battery, but it's to a part that is metal on a vehicle, preferably away from the battery, as far as you can get it while still getting good contact. By good contact, I mean when you attach that to the metal on a vehicle, you're going to see it spark. After you do that, the other vehicle should already be running. Go into your vehicle, close the door, make sure that any accessories that you had on, overhead lights, radio, all those types of things. Headlights, maybe you're driving with your headlights and the car just went dead. Turn all your accessories off, try to start the car. If it works, leave it running, go back to the compartment and disconnect your cables, make sure they don't touch. Do the same with the other, and you should be good to go. As your vehicle's running then, make sure that we have a belt, because possibly the battery stopped working because you lost a belt, which would mean that your alternator isn't charging up the battery. So it might be a good idea to contact whoever it is that does service for your car, your vehicle, whatever you drive, to have them just look it over. Now, I hope I covered the safety involved with vehicles and traveling in the snow. Let's talk about a few things that might be overlooked with your house, okay? With that terrible cold snap that we had, you hear everybody talk about freezing pipes and freezing pipes this, freezing pipes that. But what do they actually mean by that? What you want to do is be sure that any pipes that run along the exterior of your house, inside, on an exterior wall, that there's some type of air circulation there. I know at my house I have a basement, so it's cold down there as it is, and I have pipes for the laundry room that run along the foundation. So what I do is I just open up the cabinets or the drawers that are associated or in front of that pipe, and that allows some warm air to get to there and hopefully would help, or prevent those pipes from freezing. I've also heard, I haven't really had to do this, but you might want to consider also just leaving the water on a slight trickle, because that will keep the water flowing to the pipe, then you don't have to worry about a pipe bursting. What you also may want to know before you have to know, and what I mean by that, before the emergency hits, know where your cutoff or your shutoff valve is for water into the house. If you have some type of catastrophe or water's flowing and you don't know where to turn that off, it's going to make you feel quite helpless. Speaking of water, I would hope that as fall transitioned into winter that you disconnected your hoses outside. That's another common way that you can cause a pipe rupture, is to leave your hose connected, because it freezes, then it causes that ice or that freeze to back up into the house, and it breaks inside your house, sometimes behind an enclosed wall. So disconnect your hose. There's also aftermarket items where you can actually attach it to the outside, sort of like a styrofoam shroud, that would keep that from the extremes of weather. Good time, hopefully you had your furnace serviced, but if you didn't, and you call up on that Monday of the cold snap, chances are it's going to be pretty difficult for a maintenance person to come out there and do that maintenance that you were looking to have or procrastinating on that you should have had done in fall. You know, your routine yearly maintenance. What I've heard from some people in the business that, and if you were to call them, is make sure a thing that you can do on your own to sort of help that furnace cycle easier, because it's going to be running, is make sure that you have a clean filter. A filter may cost a few dollars, I don't know, $2, $3, $4, $5, but the money that you would save in that furnace drawing through that dirty filter and the wear and tear that you put on a furnace certainly outweighs that small cost. Portable heating equipment, I know that there's different types of indoor, outdoor heating. Make sure that whatever you're using for the indoors is rated to be used indoors. And then you want to make sure that that isn't anywhere around something that could burn. No combustible materials. Don't have it in your furniture, drapes, carpeting, anything like that. There's probably going to be a tag on whatever you choose to heat your house as a supplement somewhere on that device that will explain what you need to do. Carbon monoxide detectors. What you want to do is, I'm not sure if this is just specifically for Elk Grove, but wherever you may live, follow whatever it recommends on a carbon monoxide detector box or the unit itself. A general rule is that you want to have a carbon monoxide detector somewhere close to your sleeping areas, and also it may suggest that you have it on each floor. What some of them recommend is that you don't put it real close to whatever you use for heating, the furnace and that type of thing, because you may be getting some false alarms from the carbon monoxide detector. So hopefully that's some ideas for how you can keep your house safe in winter.
During these cold times this winter, space heaters can be a very helpful tool with keeping rooms warm. However, it is estimated that 25,000 fires occur every year in the business place, and at home. Keep in mind to keep combustibles at least 3 feet away from the heater. Never use electric cords or run cords underneath carpets and/or blankets. Please make sure that your heater has a safety tip-over switch that shuts off when the unit falls or tips over. Space heater can be useful tools, but should be treated like a candle. Make sure that the unit is turned off when you leave the room or when you leave the home. Please also make sure that space heaters are only used by responsible adults. I'm David Hoppy, and on behalf of Elk Grove Village Fire Department and Elk Grove Village, stay safe.
We, the people of the United States.
The mandate for the census is right here. Just a few sentences into the Constitution.
Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states, according to their respective numbers.
Apportionment. The dividing of seats in the House of Representatives among the 50 states. But how does it actually work? Since the 1940 census, Congress has used the method of equal proportions, which follows this formula.
A sub n equals P over the square root.
Okay, don't worry about the math. Just think of the formula as an apportioning machine. First, the Constitution calls for each of the 50 states to have at least one seat. So, subtract 50 from the current House total of 435, and you have 385 seats left. Next, the apportionment machine ranks the states by population according to the census. Then the machine starts giving out seats. After each seat is distributed, the machine re-ranks the remaining states based on the formula, until all seats are distributed. This process ensures that each congressional district from Maryland to California has roughly the same number of people. In 1790, each House member represented only about 34,000 people. In 2000, each member represented on average 647,000 people. Since the first census, the decennial count has been the basis for our representative form of government. And as our country grows, the apportionment process ensures equal representation for all, just like the Founding Fathers planned. Apportionment, another gift from our nation's founders, who transformed the census from a tool of government into a tool of empowerment for the people.
In these uncertain times, America needs a man whose very presence will instill confidence and commitment into this precious land. A brave man who will bring innovation and clarity to the American landscape. That man is... Hello! Ralph the Robot. Fridays at 9, only on Channel 6.
The field of law enforcement is a highly regarded career in which an individual can have a direct impact on the community and obtain great personal satisfaction from a job well done. The Elk Grove Village Police Department is seeking positive, highly motivated, and professional individuals to become police officers. Only 22 miles northwest from downtown Chicago, the settlement known as Elk Grove was established in 1834. 1 year after the city of Chicago was incorporated. The village of Elk Grove Village was incorporated in 1956 with a population of 116. Today, Elk Grove Village encompasses 11 square miles, almost 6,000 acres, with over 12,000 housing units and 3,600 business firms and one of the world's largest business parks. The village's population is 33,500, but explodes to almost 100,000 each workday. The village borders O'Hare International Airport, one of the world's busiest. Today, the Elk Grove Village Police Department has a staff of almost 100 sworn personnel and 34 non-sworn personnel in support service capacity. The main focal point of any police department is its patrol division. Specialty assignments include criminal and youth investigations, crime scene analyst, traffic section, crime prevention, field evidence technician, field training officer, and canine officer. As one of the largest Northwest suburban departments, the Elk Grove Village Police Department offers a competitive salary to new police officers. Additionally, the Village of Elk Grove Village provides a generous benefit package which includes health, life, and dental insurance, a paid vacation, a planned savings package, and a retirement pension program. To best serve Elk Grove Village, the Elk Grove Village Police Department endeavors to be at the cutting edge of law enforcement. All Elk Grove Village police officers are provided with state-of-the-art equipment and uniforms. Once an Elk Grove Village police officer's basic training is completed, they are continually afforded the opportunity to participate in advanced training courses. With these training courses, Elk Grove Village police officers are able to provide the best possible service to the community and enhance their careers as law enforcement practitioners. The Elk Grove Village Police Department has a long tradition of excellence and a deep commitment to the community. The Elk Grove Village Police Department is also a leader in the law enforcement community. We are looking for future leaders to maintain those traditions. The officers that are selected to wear the Elk Grove Village Police Star are those individuals with integrity, a commitment to the community, and the desire to have a career as law enforcement professionals.